So, with the Lakers trading for Russell Westbrook, they now only have 5 players on their roster. So, they're going to have a lot of work to do in free agency with limited cap space. So, in this video, I'm going to be going over 5 realistic free agents the Lakers could actually sign that could help them next season. Starting with Otto Porter Jr., who is a free agent, obviously. He has struggled with injuries really his whole career, but especially the past couple seasons. But he is also 6'8" and a career 40% 3-point shooter, which throughout this video, I think shooters is the most important thing the Lakers need to acquire around LeBron and Westbrook and AD. And Otto Porter Jr. certainly provides that. He's also a solid defender. So he can fill that role too. They don't just want to be killing their defense, especially with Westbrook, who's already not a great defender. So a 3-and-D wing who's 6'8", who could play in the front court with LeBron and Anthony Davis, I think is a great fit. I also think that the Lakers are going to be able to have either one of LeBron or Westbrook on the floor at all times. So shots are going to be created for whoever is on the floor, and just having a guy who can knock them down, who has good size, who can switch on defense and stay in front would be massive for them. So Otto Porter Jr. is the first free agent I think the Lakers should go after. Next, I have Dwight Howard or JaVale McGee. It really doesn't matter. They're both very similar players. Just a solid center who already has championship experience with the Lakers. And they're just in there to protect the rim, rebound, set screens, crash the offensive glass, deal with bigger centers. I think the Lakers do need that. They could also just re-sign Drummond in this role, but I think I'd rather have one of Dwight or JaVale just because it's a lot safer. You already know it's worked, and they're going to be willing to play the roles and just feast off of what they can get offensively in terms of putbacks and rolls to the rim. And then defensively, they're both pretty good rim protectors, and they're cheap, and they can play at center when the AD at power forward minutes happen. There was a report that said AD is going to play more center, but he's not going to do that for 48 minutes a game. So to have one of Dwight or JaVale come in and be able to do all the things a typical center does, I think would be great for the Lakers. And I think they should definitely bring one of them back just for that toughness and the things I already mentioned. Okay, next I have Carmelo Anthony. I may be a little bit lower on this one than most people are, but he shot 41% from 3 last year, and the Lakers' biggest need is shooting. He's not a guy who's going to run off screens, but in terms of spotting up and maybe a little bit of self-creation when the Lakers need it, I think this is a pretty good option. It gives the Lakers a little bit of secondary scoring and shooting. I would assume Melo would come off the bench, though, as he has for Portland, and it seems more logical given he's not a great defender at this age. But I also think the Lakers have a system where they could hide him defensively if they signed one of Dwight or JaVale, and they also have AD back there to protect the rim. I think as long as Melo understands the system and isn't absolutely terrible, he's just below average, then I think it's worth having him on the floor for the spacing he can provide and what he can do offensively. I don't think the Lakers want to have Melo doing too many isolations or anything, but maybe once or twice a game, but mostly it's just going to be spotting up, and that's really just the biggest need for the Lakers right now around Russ and LeBron. Okay, next I have Patty Mills, who I think if the Lakers can get him would be a great signing. I almost feel bad putting this one realistic because I don't know if they have the money for it, but if they could, I think it would be great. Just he would be a great bench guard for them, or even in the starting lineup alongside Westbrook, though I think they should probably go with Caruso or Wesley Matthews at shooting guard just for more defense. But I think he would be a great 6-man and bench guard for them. He's a career 39% 3-point shooter, but he's more than that. He gives you shooting and scoring off the bench. He can create a shot a little bit. come off screens, run pick and roll. He can handle the ball. He can play make. I think this would just be a great fit off the Lakers bench. Everything you would want in a backup guard. He's only 6'1", but he can be hidden defensively, and just to have that energy coming off the bench, I think he would pair well with LeBron because he can play both on and off the ball. Off the ball, he'd be valuable for his shooting. On the ball, he can play make a little bit. I think he'd be good coming around screens. He'd be good running pick and roll. He'd be good at really anything offense-wise. So I think if they could get Patty Mills, I think that'd be massive, just to get a little bit more scoring, because you don't want to be totally reliant on LeBron, AD, and Westbrook. You need some other guys who can do something. Even just when if LeBron gets doubled or trapped, you can pass it off to Patty Mills, and he can. He's a super smart player, will make the right read, either taking a shot for himself or finding the open man. I just think this would be a great move if the Lakers can get it done. They do have their mid-level exception, but he might just stay with the Spurs. We'll see. And then finally, I think those are the big four, but I just put JJ Redick just because he's such a shooting specialist. Though I think this one's a bit more unlikely because JJ wants to sign somewhere in the Northeast where he can be with his family, but not impossible. He's been with the Clippers before. He is a lot older now, but I think maybe not playing too much, but when the Lakers need some shooting, it's nice to have a specialist. JJ Redick, maybe someone like Kyle Korver. Nice to have one of those guys out there just to provide some shooting, because that's the Lakers' biggest need, as I mentioned. Not good defensively, but it's okay if he's playing limited minutes. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. I think the Lakers are going to get some people because they're the Lakers and people want to play with LeBron. I think Carmelo Anthony, I think that's definitely going to happen. But I'd love to see if they could get Patty Mills. That would just be incredible. Otto Porter Jr. would be great too, someone with more size and defense. But anyways, thanks for watching this video, guys. Leave a like, subscribe to this channel for more NBA content, and I'll see you guys next time.